Hello and welcome, my name is Kyle FtW and welcome to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare video. In this video we are back with another map guide video, and today we are covering the brand new DLC map called Cheshire Park. This is honestly a map that I really like. It's an absolutely amazing map in my personal opinion. I always do well on this map. The spawns are super predictable. The map is really good in my personal opinion. There's an overview of the map on the screen right now. Of course, this is another 3-lane type map, a broken 3-lane map, as I like to say in every single one of my map guide videos, as in there are 3 lanes, but each and every lane has multiple ways to get into that main lane, basically, and that's the definition of a broken map, a broken 3-lane map, basically. So now that we have basically covered the overview of the map, we'll go ahead and jump to the map guide now. So here is the first thing I wanted to cover. There's actually a accessible building right here. Now, I've rarely seen people in this building except for in Team Defender, but there really is no good reason to be in this building unless you want to get a early game snipe over on enemies over there, or you want to kill enemies that are running through here, or you want to kill enemies that are behind there in that hard point in that fish and chips shop. The reason for not wanting to be here very much is, number one, it's really kind of out of the way, but it is kind of sneaky because a lot of people kind of don't know that this room exists yet. I didn't even know it existed until probably about my 10th or 15th match playing on this map. So in that nature, you won't really know people are up here, but I would not recommend spending up too much time in this building, because odds are that, number one, you won't get a lot of action. Number two, you'll probably will be pretty easy to spot, especially if you're running from this direction. You can just see somebody up there in that window. So here is just a building that I'm not really sure why they put in the map. It really doesn't add anything to the map, but it is still there nonetheless. And I think if I actually go up here, you can also get a line of sight to enemies that are camping over in those windows over there as well. So just something to stay tuned about. If you're playing a mode like Demolition, for example, you can come up here and get some sniper shots over at enemies over there, which is pretty damn awesome. So now that we have this building covered, we can go ahead and talk about the left route of the map. So here is the left route here, but actually before I do that, never mind, I want to cover this building first. So again, this is kind of just some empty space as well. There is a hard point in this area, but in all honesty, there's not much time to be spent here unless you are playing hardpoint. But you can of course run around here, come up here into this building, and then you can go ahead and get a line of sight on enemies over here. This is a very popular part of the map. There's a lot of snipers here. There's a lot of assault rifle users, and there's a lot of people running to and from there. So one little sneaky tip is that there is a spawn point right over there to the left or to the right of the bus with the little Piccadilly logo, kind of a little Easter egg. But if you look to the right there in that little tiny crack where I'm aiming right now, that is a spawn point for enemies. They don't spawn in there, but they will spawn in that building over there. So they'll run through here, and if you have the brand new sniper, or you just have another sniper in general, or a very good assault rifle, you can easily kill enemies over there, which is pretty damn awesome. Now if we come down here, this again gives you that same sort of line of sight except from the ground level. So to be honest, you're going to be a little bit more vulnerable from down here, but you can still take out enemies that are coming from that spawn point over there. Again, very useful. Now that we have all that out of the way, we'll go ahead and talk about the left side of the map finally. Took a little bit of time, but now we can go ahead and talk about the left side of the map. So the left side of the map here is not too crowded, but again, 2 things I want to note here. Number one, you can actually get up on these little flower beds, and you can get a line of sight there. Oh wow, I just realized, wow, this is a really sneaky spot. But anyways, I digress. If you're up here on these little stairways, you can actually get lines of sight to enemies behind the police car. And by the way, all of these can explode. Let me just throw a grenade over there really quick so I can show you. Yep, all those cars, as I said, can explode, so you can actually get some very nice kills early in the game from enemies that are by those cars. And again, vice versa, there is actually the identical kind of layout. There's a black car there and a police car behind it, black car there, police car behind it. So just be aware of when you're coming through here. Honestly, like I just showed you, I would honestly run here and throw my grenade right away, because odds are you could easily get a kill there, or a Semtex, whatever grenade that you have. But again, depending on the time of the match, you may also want to kind of just keep precise up here just very quickly, and then run behind here. Now this fire truck does give you a lot of cover. You can even mount on the police truck right or the fire truck right here if you want to. So again, that's kind of a little place to mount your weapon, because there will be enemies over here quite a bit. Now this is kind of the thing that happens to me a lot whenever I play this map, is that I run here, I keep my sights up, and then an enemy comes right through here and shoots me in the back. This is an area of the map where you want to be on top of it. So you want to run through here, keep your sights up here for about 2 to 3 seconds like I'm doing now, and then continue to run over here to this spawn. Because, as I said, enemies will be spawning in that building over there, they'll be spawning over there, and they will be spawning in there, so you can easily get lines of sight. You can mount on this as well. But again, be careful, because this little brick wall right here, enemies, you can just barely see the top of their head, and they can see you a lot better than you can see them. So just be very, very, very careful if you're over here. Again, honestly, I probably wouldn't even recommend being over here that long. Maybe quickly mount your weapon, get a couple of kills, or sheerly just sprint over here and then kill enemies here, and I think and mount on here if you want to. Personally, I don't really mount in this game that much at all. I would just go over here and just shoot enemies, and then you can run through here if things get a little sketchy. And here is that other building on the other side of the map that I was showing you guys earlier. As I said, if you're here on this side of the map, you can get a line of sight to enemies that are over there in that building. You can get a line of sight to enemies down there. You can get a line of sight to enemies in there. And you can get a line of sight to enemies over here. And if you want to go all the way over here, you can get access to enemies over there. So, for example, if I'm spawning over there on the other side of the map and enemies want to come this way, I can get a line of sight on them here. But again, I haven't seen too many people in here. Personally, whenever I've played this map, I've seen a lot of rushing. People don't seem to want to camp on this map very much, which is really, really good. So that's something to have of note as well. But again, this is kind of the most important part. Just run through here, keep your sights up, and just see if there's enemies going to be over there. Now we will go ahead and talk about the left side of the map then, and then we'll talk about the middle. I like to do the side routes first and then go into the middle of the map, because the middle of the map is kind of the most advanced part. So of course we can spawn here as well. I think this is the Co-Allegiance spawn. The Allegiance spawn is here, and I was over at the Coalition spawn earlier. So basically you'll spawn here. Another little sneaky tip and trick is that you can actually capture the C objective in domination from right here. Just kind of a fun fact. Nothing too crazy, but still, it gives you cover from pretty much all sides. You just kind of have to worry about here and enemies coming from there as well. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier, where enemies like to come through here. This is a very dangerous area unless you have a sniper or you have a very good assault rifle. SMGs, no, absolutely not. You don't want to be here with an SMG, because again, there will be enemies on head glitches there. There'll be enemies on head glitches there. And you just don't want to be here, because this is kind of a funnel route. I've gotten a couple of triple kills by throwing a grenade in here, or throwing a Semtex in here, because it's just such a tight area, and for some reason, this is where people tend to go. I think they either spawn in here, or actually I know they spawn right here. They spawn right here, so it's just simple and easy to run through here. But if we're going to be running through here, just either sprint over here and try and get into this little greenhouse area. Or if you have your sniper rifle, for example, if I have the new sniper or whatever sniper rifle I have, you can just pick off enemies that are in that window up there, and that window up there, down there, on that head glitch by that trash can, and as well as on that head glitch over there where those little crates are. So now that we have this covered, again, this bus is another place that you can kind of be of use. You can even crouch around here and get some kind of really sneaky lines of sights. For example, I can just camp right here and get some shots on enemies coming through the greenhouse. I can also just lay prone right here, kill enemies over there, and I can just head glitch right here. You can even mount on this if you want to. Again, I've never seen anybody do this, but if you want to, you can. Of course, anything to your exposure is available to you. So now that we have that out of the way, this main street was just basically designed for snipers and assault rifles, because it is long range oriented. Of course, this is the longest line of sight on the entire map. So again, just be very careful coming in here. You definitely don't want to just sprint over here like a madman. Just be careful about enemies up there. Normally what I tend to do when I play this map is that normally I actually go through that greenhouse, to be completely honest with you. But if there is somebody at B flag, the B domination flag is right over here, then I kind of just sneak over here, hiding myself from those lines of sights up there. But enemies can still come from here, but most of the time I will kill an enemy here and then just get into the middle of the map as soon as possible. But again, just be really careful. In all honesty, if you're gonna want to go on this road, just sprint straight from there, go to the little telephone booth, and then come right here into this area, and then you can easily kill enemies. Watch out for enemies in here as well, and enemies will come through there. Enemies will come through here, so just be really, really careful and be on your toes. This map is pretty good. It flows really, really well, but just be really careful, because enemies can pop out of nowhere. in this area, especially because there's kind of a blind corner there. They'll just be out there all of a sudden, and if I sprint here without knowing, I can easily get killed. So now that we have the left side of the map out of the way, we'll go ahead and talk about the middle, which is going to be the most in-depth part of this video. We're already at 10 minutes, so I better try and hurry this up as quick as possible. So the middle of the map is definitely the most crazy part of the entire map. Of course, it always is, because it is the middle of the map. That's where the most traffic goes. Oh, there's a little rat there, a little rat. But the middle of the map tends to be where most of the traffic goes. So again, I've seen people camp behind these benches. Now be really careful, because you actually can't physically go around these benches unless you jump over them. But I've seen people camp in this corner here, so be aware of that coming through this gate. I've even seen people camp over here as well in this corner. Again, they're being really sneaky, and I've seen people camp behind here a lot, but because you can get a line of sight on enemies over there and down there as well. So again, just if you're coming through the gates here, or if you're running through here like this, just be really careful about enemies over there, enemies on the head glitch, and enemies coming through here, because you never know if there's going to be enemies there. There's enemies that can kind of pop out of nowhere. Even though I said the map flows good, it still flows good, but enemies can still pop out of nowhere. That's kind of very popular with most maps. Again, this area of the map here, you're going to want to be really careful, because these head glitches are really sneaky. Like, they're really sneaky. You can barely see the top of the enemy's head here. So again, be really careful. Honestly, what I always do is I throw a grenade and then I just get the heck out of dodge. I don't really like to hang out here much unless I'm playing domination, because of course I do go straight for the domination capture. But again, just be really careful. I have seen people kind of get a really weird head glitch, but I'm not sure how they did it. But I think it might have just been here. So again, just be careful about enemies head glitching on here. And a little sneaky thing is you can actually go up here as well and get a nice head glitch on enemies spawning from there, and spawning from over there, which is really sneaky. And if you crouch here, enemies cannot see you. So if you're defending B, for example, or you're playing hardpoint, and this is where the huge first hardpoint is, you can camp here and play the objective and basically wait for enemies to walk by. But again, if you're playing modes like TDM and Kill Confirmed and other modes like that, be really careful. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend running through the middle of the map that much, because of course enemies will be sitting in this corner and you don't want to get a really dumb death. Again, vice versa. Over here, you can get lines of sight to enemies coming through here, enemies coming through here, and enemies coming through there, which is pretty damn awesome. Now this back area, as far as I know, and as far as I've played a ton of hours on this map. I think I've put 3 to 5 hours on this map already. From what I've played of this map, this back half of the map right here, everything to the right of my character, is by far the most popular part of the map. Enemies are going through here constantly. Again, same thing. If you're spawning over here on the Allegiance side, be very careful. Keep your sights up right here. Kill that enemy, because there will almost 9 times out of 10 always be an enemy here. And again, I'm that enemy for the other play that's over there. And you can also run through here and get a nice little line of sight over there as well. But again, this is the most popular area of the map. This greenhouse, this conservatory, whatever you want to call it, is super popular. I've seen people sit in the corners here. I've seen people sit in this corner here as well. And I've seen people this is basically the best way to get to any place, any part of the map. For example, if I'm running through here, I can get over to that street. I can go through here as well, get a line of sight to enemies over here on B. And if I want to run through here as well, I can get over here, quickly turn, and then I'm on to the right side of the map as well. So this is a very effective area, and I definitely recommend being very careful coming through here. Most of the time, I kind of just tend to just be over here and kind of just listen out for enemies and just kind of hear if I can hear them, and then I kill them. Because again, there's going to be a ton of trying to find the right word here. There's going to be a ton of traffic coming through here. There we go. That's the right word. There's going to be a ton of traffic coming through this building, so you're going to want to be very careful. Enemies, and this also gives you a very good area to be and kill enemies at that spawn as well. And there we go. We have officially covered this entire map. This is probably a map that is slowly becoming my favorite map in the entire game. I absolutely love this map. I know the spawns very well. I predicted this map very good. I've learned this map very well, and I absolutely love this map. I think it's a very good map, and it's probably one of the best non-remake maps in the entire game by far. I think it is even better than Shoot House. I believe that strongly. It's a medium-sized map. It's fast-paced. It's a lot of fun, and if you guys have not played this map, I highly recommend you guys give it a go. It also is a very pretty looking map. I mean, the skyline looks really nice. And there we go. That is going to do it for this map guide video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It was quite a long one. These map guides tend to be a pretty long video, just because there's so much stuff to cover on these maps, and I want to try and make these map guides as in-depth as possible. Plus, I'm doing them live and uncut, which is kind of why I've been stumbling over my words a little bit. But I do it live just so that you guys can actually see things as I'm thinking and as I'm processing the map. If you guys want to see a full dedicated gameplay on this map, you can go ahead and check that out on my channel. I did that 2 days ago, of course, with the launch of the brand new update. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Please check out all my other previous map guide videos, which will be in the playlist in the description. I've covered almost every single map in this game. I will be covering Hard Hat at some point later on this week. Just have been so busy with the other things coming out with the game. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I will see you guys all in another Call of Duty video very soon.